All right, welcome back to an all new season 5 of our show. And today it's cabbage, stuffed cabbage. Let's show you how to get it done. All right, so it's stuffed cabbage. So we're stuffing this cabbage today with some beef. Right here I got chuck steak. I got 2 chuck steaks. They're about 2.5 pounds each. So we're playing process of elimination. I don't want to confuse you guys with this recipe, so I'm showing you step-by-step instructions today. So of course we're going to need some cabbage, what we have right over here. We got a little sage. We got some onions, a yellow and a red, and we got some carrots, salt, pepper, and a little bit of rub. Let's show you how to get this done. So in here we have some garlic. Now this garlic is going to go through the grinder with the meat itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is start to season my meat. Now I'm going to go in with some salt. Now this is a very easy way to season your meat because you can see what you're seasoning. If you cut this up and then season it, you're really not sure what you're seasoning. So just season it as you were going to season a regular steak. So just go about there. Some black pepper. Good douse of that. And some rub. This is a homemade rub. Onion powder, garlic powder, oregano. Touch of dry sage in here. So we're just going to go in with that. And paprika. Very simple, basic rubs. All right, I'm going to turn this over and just repeat. Now we're making this easy recipe today. And most of this is all going to be machines. So I'm starting off with a grinding machine, and then when we get to the vegetables, I'm using a food processor because it's just going to make your life a lot easier. All right, there you go. Now, if you don't have a grinder, you could use a food processor to do this. It's just the steak is going to need to be cut up and put into the food processor, and you're just going to have to just grind little parts of it down. All right, we got that. And we got the black pepper. How easy was that? All right, so now that we got that seasoned up, now it's time to get it cut up. Off to the side it goes, and I'm just gonna cut strips like this. And use a nice fatty piece of chuck, because the more fat for this dish is your friend. I'm gonna feel around. If I see any pieces like this, they're just gonna get caught in your grinder, so just cut that off. Just gonna cut this. And I got the same piece of straggly fat on this end. And I'm just going to cut that off. There we go. Just put them off to the side and just kind of look around. Now this fat here I'm going to leave here because I call that a friendly fat. And that's what we want. So I'm going to make strips easy enough to get down into the grinder. So I'm just going to kind of half them like that. This way you can just go right down into the processor with it, or the grinder. And there we go. I'm just going to look around and then see if there's any fat that I don't want to go down into this. It's just going to catch in the grinder, and then we'll have to get it out later on. It'll just wrap itself around the spool in the grinder, but it won't be a big deal. So if you don't want to clog up your grinder, just get that off ahead of time. All right, there it is. Very simple, very easy. See that piece of fat holding that? It's not a very good fat, so just get that off to the side. If you look at that, it's just like a silver skin. That you don't want there. This piece of chuck happened to be very fatty. I picked this piece of meat because of that. But the only downfall is you just have to cut those pieces off. All right, there we go. All right, so now I have all this meat nice and cut up. I'm gonna put this over here. I'm just gonna grind this down. Let me put this piece of steak here. I'm gonna grind this down and just get all that in there. So watch and see.
There we go. I'm going to take some garlic. Get some garlic down in there too. There you go. All right, we're going to get this ground up and we're going to meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere.
All right, so here's our meat. It's nice and ground down, and we're going to show you what to do from here. So we're going to need some carrots, some onions, and right now we're using a food processor for this. Now you could do it the old-fashioned way and take the carrots and just grind against here and take the onions, but today we're using a food processor. I'm not even sure if anybody uses these things anymore. I remember they got very popular back in the 80s, but today we're using one just to save some time, so let's get it going. Just grind down everything together. Carrot, the onion, all right, so that's how you want to do that. We're going to continue grinding this, and then we're going to meet you right back here to start the felling for you. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we have our mixture cut up here. This is the carrot and the onions. Now the sage, you can't put this in the processor. This is something you're going to have to do by hand. So just put them all in a bunch like this and just roll them up. As tight as you can get them, just like that, and just cut. Turn them to the side and cut. And once you get them started, you can just pretty much go nuts on them. Just like that. Now we're going onto the stove with these carrots and onions. Now, for you guys that make this dish, whether you know this or not, you can't take this mixture and just put it right in here, because what's going to happen is we're going to wrap all this up inside the leaves of the cabbage. And if you take this with all this moisture in here and put it inside this mixture, what's going to happen? You're going to water down your meat and you're going to be stuck with mush. So you don't want to do that. So what we want to do is cook out some of that water in there, bring some flavor out of those carrots and the onions, let it cool down, and then make our mixture. So you know what that means? Off to the stove we go. All right, so we got some olive oil in here and our oil is heating up. Sage, you want to get that in? Bring out the flavors in that sage. The minute you smell the sage, get your mixture in. We're going to cook this down just for about 3 minutes, just to bring out some of that water in here. Maybe 5, and then we're going to meet you guys right back here, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, our carrots and onion is off the stove. Let's show you what we got. All right, so from here, we're going to start to put our meat mixture together here. So right here, we got some peeled tomatoes. Those are peeled plum tomatoes. Of course, we have the meat and we have that mixture that we just did on the stove. So the first thing we'll do is bring in a mixing vessel. So we're gonna get this meat right into it. Get all that nice seasoning out of there. Nothing goes to waste. Now, I didn't disturb this meat. I left it alone up until now. I didn't mix it. And now what we'll do is we're going to put the carrot mixture in. Get that right in, all of it. Now this is something you're gonna have to feel out. There's no specific way to do this. So you're gonna have to feel out how many carrots you want, the onion mixture in here, and just kind of feel it out. Now right here I have about 4 pounds of meat, 4 carrots. So I try to do for every pound, at least an onion and 2 carrots per pound. That's kind of the way I do it. Because you don't want to flood the meat with a bunch of carrots and add a bunch of fillers in there. So you just want to get enough flavor in there to let that meat be the star of the show. Unless you're on a budget, then you're going to have to kind of put the extra fillers in there. All right, so now let's get in some of this nice tomato mixture. We're just going to kind of wet it up with this tomato. You don't want too much because you don't want mush. So let's just mix that in. And now it comes down to a consistency thing. You don't want it like hamburger meat. You want a nice smooth texture, but not mush. This is why we did the onions and the carrots on the stove, to get out a lot of that moisture and bring that flavor in. Because that's a big difference when you do it that way. Otherwise everything's just going to run right out of the meat and you're going to be stuck with a flavorless cabbage roll. Now I call them cabbage rolls, stuffed cabbage. To me it's the same thing. I grew up on stuffed cabbage and a lot of people call them cabbage rolls. So at the end of the day, you get the same result. All right, so let me just get a little bit more in here, because I feel I want this just a bit more wet. And the rest we're gonna save to put on top of this dish. And there that is right there. Now we got our water boiling and we're ready to show you the cabbage part of this, and that's the last part. And we'll put these together and have a great meal. All right, I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so now we got our meat mixed up and we got our filling done, and that will be our filling right there. So we're gonna need a cabbage. And by the way, that filling, I put the rice in at the last minute. Now that filling calls for a cup of rice. So basically the 4 pounds of meat, I have 1 cup of rice. I try to use a 1/4 cup per pound, and that's how you want to basically do that. You're gonna need some chicken stock, and this is that tomato that we had on the side, the peeled crushed tomatoes here. So let's do the cabbage. I got some boiling water right now. We're gonna just take out the core of this cabbage. You're gonna need a nice sharp paring knife, and be very careful when you do this. So you just wanna kind of go around the core, keep your hand out of the way. Got a nice sharp knife. And what you basically wanna do is just get the core out of there and just open up a little small spot in the middle of there so you can pop that core right out of there. I'm gonna just take my knife and just go right around. And there it is. So just most of that core right out of there, and then we're gonna meet you on the stove and boil this up, show you how to do it. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we got our water boiling. Now, this is only going for about 10 minutes. Now, to be safe, you can use something like this and just hold it and drop it into the water. Me, I've got a serious grip on here, so I'm just gonna grip it. Now that I got it wet, I can't grip it anymore, but I just was gripping it, but you can grip it and put it down in here. So let's just go down into the water. Hold it to the side of the pot, and it should float. And you're gonna go with the whole side down. Just like that. We're gonna get the lid on it, just like that. And we're gonna let this go for about 10 minutes. And we'll meet you back here, show you what to do from here. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to pull this out. Now you're gonna need something like this. This way you can catch the cabbage from the bottom. And then just guide it with something like this. We're gonna drain the water and then onto a surface like that. We're going to turn it over on this surface. And we'll meet you right onto the table and show you why. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our cabbage is out of the water and it's cooling down. Here's my rice. Like I say, I added at the last minute because I don't want this rice to soak up that moisture. So always add the rice at the last minute. If you're gonna do this the next day and go overnight with it, add the rice the next day. Because you don't want to be stuck with any kind of dry meat. So there you go. You don't have to add the rice at all, but the rice is a good binder and filler. All right, so there we go. Now we're gonna get into this cabbage. I'm gonna show you how to separate the leaves. So you wanna take 2 forks and just kind of break the leaves apart like this. So you're gonna hold on to it and just get the leaves off of here. The outer ones first. Once you start to peel the first ones off, it'll all just kind of follow. This cabbage is still a little tight. So there we go. There's like the first one. I don't want to break these, so let's just put them over here. I think I can kind of handle this now. It's not as hot. There we go. Now you want to keep your water. See that nice big leaf right there? You want to keep your water because if these aren't done enough, you can just put the cabbage right back in. But the hardest part is getting it started. So there it is. Now I'm just going to peel the rest of this and we're going to meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so we have our layers peeled apart here. Now, the rest of the cabbage I had to put back in because when I got to the smaller part of it, they didn't peel off so easy. So I put it back in the water. Now this is how you roll these. Now if you look in the back of the cabbage, there's a little piece of, I call it a rib. So it's like the rib of the cabbage. And you just want to cut that out. And when you cut that out, or you could shave it off. Some people shave them. I'm just going to put it over here. When you cut that out, it makes them very easy to roll. So here's a spoon. We're going to go in with a good amount of this. I kind of say they're like almost like meatballs. So you want to go in with a good amount of that filling. And then from that rib part, you're going to fold over. Just like that, tuck them back. And then you're going to fold them in. Just like that. And then you're going to bring it over and fold again. And now you have a nice little beautiful rolled cabbage. We'll put it in here. And put it on the side going down. So it holds that flap, just like that. Tighten it up. And just repeat. And we're going to keep repeating. Our oven's set at 350. And we're going to meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we're all nice and wrapped up. So this is the meat that was left over. It's not left over, but this is what all of this made. I mean, these are 2 dozen. So a little bit goes a long way. All right, so now we're going to take that tomato. And before we do that, we're going to need a little broth. So a little broth on the bottom of here. This is chicken stock. And we're going to need just a little on the bottom just to steam these guys. Not much. Just go about a quarter way up. And now we're going to take that nice tomato and just go over this with it. And just spread them around. Just like that. Just make sure they all get some. Now you can put whatever you want over top of these, but this is kind of the way it is with the tomato. This is what you would normally see going over top of stuffed cabbage. Especially in your colder world places. Like Ukraine, Russia, Germany. This is how this gets done. Poland. So a lot of those cold countries are very familiar with this dish. Including China, because they're in that neck of the woods too. All right, and there it is. That's how you want to do that. I'm just going to sprinkle the rest of this right over top. 350 degrees, hour and a half. That's what this is going to take. So here's a pan, and this is a good trick. So you want to take some clear wrap. I know it sounds crazy. Go right over top. And put it just like that. And wrap all the edges with it. Make sure it's tight. And then you're going to go over top of this with aluminum foil. So this is going to keep all of the moisture in, and it's not going to burn. It's going to lock down on this. So you'll see it lock itself down on this. And it's going to hold in all that moisture. So here's some aluminum. Just like that. The nice part about this trick is that you're not going to have to worry about ruining your oven, because nothing is going to leak out of this. When we take off the aluminum, we'll show you that it's just locked in place. Let's give that a spin. Lock it in the other side. And now it's airtight. This puppy ain't going nowhere. 350 degrees in the oven, hour and a half. All right, so we stuffed some peppers as well too with the leftover meat that we had. So we're just sticking those in too, and we'll show you those later on. Meet you back here, don't go anywhere. All right, those cabbage rolls are in there cooking away and they're almost done. While they're almost done, we're just gonna show you some beautiful dumplings. Let's show you how to get them done. All right, so for this dish, you're gonna need some potatoes. You're gonna need some flour, which I have over here. This is just 2 cups, and we're gonna feel this one out. I got some onions, parsley, and 4 eggs. So into the pressure cooker, I'm going with this. If you guys don't have a pressure cooker, feel free to boil them. And then just get them done just right. So what we're gonna do with this is we're just making regular potatoes, and we're gonna mash them up and make some dumplings out of them. So we're gonna lock this on, 20 minutes. We'll meet you right back here. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so the pressure cooker's going. We got the potatoes in there. We're gonna show you a beautiful sauce that's gonna go over top of these gorgeous dumplings. Bacon, right? Can't go wrong with this. Just cut it up. This is about 1 pound of bacon, and this is what we're using today. Bacon, onion, very simple, parsley, to go right over top of those beautiful dumplings that we're gonna make. And when that comes out of the pressure cooker, we're gonna show you how to get that together. And by the way, save your cabbage water, because we're using the cabbage water to put the dumplings in. And they're gonna soak up all that beautiful juice from that cabbage. All right, so we got our bacon ready. We got our onions ready to go on. Onto the stove we go. All right, so we started rendering some bacon down, and this is gonna go over these dumplings. So you get it rendered down, get some color on it, and in with an onion, all of it. And now we're gonna cook this down. with the bacon nice and slow. And that's it. We're gonna garnish this with a little parsley afterwards. And this is going right over top of our dumplings. And when we do that, we'll see you then. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we let this bacon cook down and we added some wine to it and a little bit of parsley. So now we just wanna add some butter just to make it silky. And that's our sauce that's gonna go over top of our dumplings. So we're just gonna let that melt down in there. And that's it. We didn't add any salt to this, any pepper. It was butter, parsley, onion, bacon. That's it. A little olive oil to get things started, to get the bacon going. And that was it. So now we're just gonna add the butter, reduce the heat down on simmer, and just let it chill out. Show you guys this later. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so we took our potatoes out of the cooker. Now this is what I've been doing. I've been ricing these potatoes. This is called a potato ricer, and it just basically has holes in it and it pushes the potato through it. And that's what we want to do here. So I'm gonna get my potatoes in. If you don't have one of these, a masher works perfectly fine. And the reason why I'm showing you is because you want your potato to cool down before you actually make a dumpling out of it and put the egg in it. So this is me right now, just showing you how to get this done. All right, that's it. So we're gonna let these cool down. And when they cool down, we'll show you how to put this potato together. Stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so it's time to make these dumplings. So what we're gonna do is put our parsley in and get that right into those nice cool potatoes. Or egg. Those are the 4 eggs. So just go right in with them. Just adjust this to how many potatoes you have. So I got about 6 potatoes in here. I thought it was 6. So we're going 6 potatoes, 4 eggs, and potatoes are different sizes, eggs are different sizes, so you just gotta have to weigh it out. All right, we're going in with some flour. And we're just gonna judge it out. And that's about it. Now we're gonna start to mix this in. Give yourself some room and use a nice size mixing bowl. You don't want to put too much flour, but you still want enough flour to bring these together because you don't want flour bowls. If you guys ever made gnocchi, it's kind of the same thing. All right, so it's still wet right now, so I'm going to use some more flour to kind of get this together. You need the right consistency with this, so you need to be able to make your bowls. And we're almost there. I'm just feeling it out, seeing where I want this. And you can see that flour there. It's going to start to get real heavy on you. So we're almost there. I think I'm going to go a little bit more flour. And I basically think that's it. All right, now I'm going to get my hands in here. Like I said, just feel it out. And make it right for you. And I would say that's about right. All right, so here's our pan. Now for these, you're gonna need a little water on your hands, so keep a little cup of water over here. This way you can keep your hand a little wet while you make these. I'm gonna roll them out. And I'm gonna make them about like this. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna finish rolling these out. I'm gonna meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our dumplings are ready to go in. Now I dusted these with just a light coat of flour, just so I can make them easier for me to handle. So I'm gonna take them like that. Now if you noticed, this water is not boiling hard. You don't want to boil this water hard because these dumplings will fall apart. So take them, you just got to get them in, just like that. Give them a couple of seconds, almost like you're frying them. And then let them go. And they'll release. And that's it. 20 minutes, they're going to float to the top, and we'll be ready. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our dumplings are done, and when they're done, they all start to float to the top, as you can see. So we're gonna just strain these and get them out of here. Getting a nice bowl. And just get them well strained. And you can see all that nice bacon in the back of there. That's going right over top of these guys. That's right. So we're gonna get all these in the bowl, and we'll meet you back here to put that bacon on top, so don't go anywhere. All right, so our dumplings are out, and you can see how pretty everything is in there. You can see all that parsley right through there. Now this is that beautiful sauce we made, and we're gonna go right over top of these dumplings. The butter, the bacon, you can't go wrong with this one. Why not, right? And for you guys that have had this in this fashion, you know what this is. All right, just gonna get that right over the top of that last dumpling. And that is it. All right, we're gonna meet you on the table and put everything together, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are, season 5's chop and block. Stuffed rolled cabbage and dumplings. Let's show you what we got. All right, look at that. Now I wanted to show you guys this because when we put this together, we left the plastic underneath. And I wanted to show you how the plastic holds up to here, and it holds up beautiful. So there it is. So let's get into this. We're just gonna pull it back. You would think this plastic was in the oven, 350 degrees, for an hour and a half. You would think that this thing would just disintegrate, but no. So it's a good trick, now you know. All right, and there it is. Here's our cabbage. Or stuffed rolled cabbage. And doesn't that look pretty? So we're just gonna get this off to the side. Now what's funny, I was gonna make another batch of this, and I thought I had another head of cabbage, and I ran out of cabbage. So what you guys saw me put in the oven were peppers. So I took that leftover stuffing that we had, and we stuffed peppers with them. So basically you just cut the peppers open, 2 hours in the oven, and there it is. And we're going to show you how to do this another day, because today is a cabbage day. And we're going to show you how to get these done too, but we're just showing you the possibilities that you can do here. So I mean, look at that. You can still see the steam coming from that. So that's everything in those stuffed peppers. And those look beautiful. All right, let's take a look over here. Here's our dumplings. Gorgeous. Enough looking, let's get into this. So let's bring in a plate. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some stuffed cabbage right onto this plate. I'm just gonna go for the ones that are closest to me. Here. And they're holding it nice. So I think I'm gonna get a couple of these nice rolls here. Look at all that nice gravy in there. That nice juice that came out of the cabbage. So I think we'll go for 2 of these for now. And I'm gonna get a stuffed pepper onto the plate, why not? Just park that right there. And we're gonna get some of those beautiful dumplings on here. Look at those guys. I'm just gonna slide this plate a little closer, and we're just gonna get these dumplings right on here. I think I'm gonna go for 2 of these. Why not? Get some of that nice bacon on the top of there. There you have it. And I think we're a little bit light. I'm gonna slide this over here. I think we're a little bit light onto one of those cabbage rolls. So I think I'm just gonna bring in another one. And there we are. Now that looks like a pretty complete plate. I'm just gonna line everything up. Make sure it looks right on the plate. And there it is. And of course, we always have to go in and garnish. Let's just move that one up that way and move this back here. Like that. There we go. And we'll go in and garnish with just a little parsley. Just to make things look fantastic. Always have to present nicely there. That's it. We're going to park just a little parsley on the plate here on the side. And I'm going to spin this guy around so you can see what I'm looking at. Alright, here we go. That's what I'm looking at. So clean that plate up a little bit there. And this is my favorite part. The eating. Let's get into this. So the first thing I'll do is I think I'm gonna try that pepper. Why not? So I'm just gonna take my knife and just cut right down the side and show you the inside of that pepper. Look at that. Everything's just beautiful in there. Let's give that a try. That is ridiculous. Outstandingly good. I mean, that pepper, soft, 2 hours in the oven. That's all you need with that. You can taste that rice, the mixture in there. Phenomenal. All right, let's give this cabbage roll a try. I'm just gonna show you the inside of that. Look at that. Beautiful. Let's give that a shot. That mixture with the carrots and the parsley and the onions in there, along with that cabbage, to set it off. The cabbage is excellent. Tastes so fresh. Tomatoes in there. Fantastic. Let's try these dumplings. Get some of that bacon in there. Wow. It's very bacony, very rich. It's like having just bacon on just a pillow in the clouds. Outstanding dish. All right, we're gonna get organized and we're gonna meet you guys right back here, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is, stuffed cabbage rolls. And we serve that with a beautiful stuffed pepper on the side. You guys, you gotta see that one with that rice and taste that one in there. That's gorgeous. Beautiful tasting meal. And we follow it off with some dumplings. That sauce on the top with the bacon. That's gonna be a hit. I highly suggest you guys make this one. It may take you some time, but definitely well worth it. We thank you guys. We enjoyed you coming. And as always, until the next time, gotta get that little Pitmaster taste there.